Ryback is in the news and getting attention after he put his foot in his mouth on Twitter, vowing to retire from the business if CM Punk returned at SummerSlam. And of course, we've all saw what happened there by now, right? I jumped in on Ryback's stream yesterday on YouTube, yesterday afternoon for a little while, and he had the most viewers I've seen him have on there since he was parlaying challenging Goldberg to a wrestling match on top of that stalker angle he claimed to have going on. I'm still not sure if that was a work or not. So, in other words, the most viewers he's had since the last time he was relevant and in the news cycle. Unfortunately, this time he's in it. He's in the cycle for all the wrong reasons. He had a strong, poorly thought out promise like retiring if a fellow unemployed peer gains employment. I mean, who does that, man? Who lets the success of another affect them to the point they just say, screw it? Do words, do words hurt Ryback that bad? Because thanks to one single podcast interview and a handful of remarks that CM Punk made about Ryback way back in 2014, it seems those feelings Punk had almost a decade ago still haunt the big guy to this day. I used to check out his content on a semi-regular basis, but after a series of videos and live streams where they were nothing more than a tool used to disparage Punk and give Tony Khan a verbal hand job, I quit watching him after that. And not because I'm some punk mark, I'm not, but because it's annoying. And viewers don't care to see you rant like a lunatic for days on end about a person you worked with almost a freaking decade ago. Get over it, dude. You had a chance to be the bigger man all of this time, but instead you chose to keep being petty and to look like a petulant little child, while CM Punk hasn't said a damn thing about Ryback since. Do you know? Do you know why he hasn't? Because the man has been out of his life for almost a decade, and he's irrelevant. At least to CM Punk he is. And to be honest, to the general public, and even most of the internet wrestling community he is, when he isn't pulling stunts like this one. Ryback saw a moment of vulnerability and CM Punk looking like the real problem after the Jack Perry thing, and he tried to capitalize on it and beat it into the ground. It's okay, free speech is a thing. Like I said, it's just childish and petty. And honestly, it did nothing for Ryback's image. And it isn't like hearing what Ryback thinks about Punk and listening to him verbally bully Punk for days on end is going to turn a CM Punk fan. It's just going to make that fan hate Ryback, if they didn't already. Stunts like this retirement thing are basically his whole gimmick now. He spent what felt like months challenging Goldberg when Goldberg has been on national television and remained relevant for the decade he hasn't. And he did this challenging without any substance to it. He had no financial backer, no promoter, no media outlet, no anything. Challenging a man that's in the WWE Hall of Fame, and not to be rude, but far, far above Ryback when it comes to being a draw, and bringing asses to seats and eyeballs to television sets to watch a match if it was to magically happen between the two. This is all because it eats him alive to this very day that fans chanted Goldberg every time he stepped into a ring, by the way. On top of doing it, actually making him, making people notice him in 2023, of course. But it doesn't change the fact that Goldberg was the bigger draw, is the bigger draw, always will be the bigger draw. Just like CM Punk always will be the bigger draw. So, will Ryback retire? I don't know, man. Isn't he kind of already retired? Hasn't he pretty much been retired since he left WWE? I keep hearing a whole lot of talking from Ryback about this big comeback tour. but I sure don't see anything materializing.